Bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good morning, everyone. Today we are supposed to do Ekaputtaka Sutta, which is also a very short sutta. So next week, from next week, I'm planning to discuss the Bahya Sutta on next week, which is a quite long sutta. So today we'll conclude. Actually, we discussed about that sutta. I forgot. Sutta number. Anyone help me? I think we discussed Udāna Sutta. Udāna Sutta, I think we couldn't discuss the last paragraph, right? We couldn't discuss the last paragraph. I hope everyone can at least hear me. So is there anyone volunteer to translate the last two paragraphs of this sutta? Anyone interested in translating? How about there's a name YMK. Can you translate? Hello, I hope you can hear me. Sally, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear.
We can hear.
Is YMK, I don't know whether he's not here. Anyone who is volunteered, can you translate? Anyone who, I think who Sally, can you do it? Hello?
Yes, Bhante.
Can you do the translation, last two paragraphs? Hello?
Yes, let me say it.
This one. Because the last sutta we didn't finish, right? We had two paragraphs left without translating.
Wait a moment, I will use the earphone.
If my memory was correct, I think we didn't do, right? Or did we finish it?
No, Bhante.
No, we didn't do, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Athako sago deva namindo ayasumandang mahakassapang api watetewa. Then the king of Deva, Saka, bows down to the variable Mahakassapa Padakinang Katawa. Having down from the right to the right.
Okay.
Yeah, we have some
We have a
abung.
word for that. Circumambulate, something like that.
Okay, circle to the right, through the right.
No, there's one word for that. Yeah, Dr. Ryan, can you pronounce that word? Circumambulation. How do you call it? To the right side.
Yeah, I know the meaning, but I don't know. Okay, we have some Abu Gandawa rising up the sky.
Circumambulation, something like that.
Agase Andanike Dikhatong Udana Udanesi, situated between the sky and the earth. After this utterance 3 times, Aho Danang Baramadanang, charity, the offering is supreme in the Kasaba. Also, sorry. Offering is supreme. Kasabe Subaditidang. The offering is firmly established in the Venerable Mahakasapa. Aho Danang Baramadang Kasabe Subaditidang. Oh, the offering is supreme and is firmly established in the Venerable Mahakasapa. Aho Danang Baramadang Kasabe Subaditidang. Then the offering is supreme and is firmly established in the Venerable Mahakasapa. Aho Siko Bhagava Dibaya Sodadatuya Visudaya Adiganda Manusikaya Sakasa Devana Mindasa Vihasang Abu Gandawa Agasi Andanike Dikhatong Udana Udanendasa. Then then the Bhagawa heard the saga. Oh, yeah. The blessed one heard with his divine ear, which is pure than all human beings. No?
Has gone beyond, which has
okay.
Which is
okay, which
pure
has gone
and gone beyond the human. Belonging to human, like human, it's an adjective. Like human ear.
Okay.
It's more
human ear.
It has gone beyond the human ear. Yeah, we can translate like human ear. Yeah.
Okay, beyond the human ear. He heard the king of the Deva, Saka, rise up in the sky and situated between the earth and the sky, said, uttered this utterance 3 times. Aho Dana Baramadana Gasabe Subaditidang. This offering is supreme and is firmly established in the Venerable Mahakasapa. Aho Dana Baramadana Gasabe Subaditidang. Then the offering is supreme and is firmly established in the Venerable Mahakasapa. Aho Danang Baramadang Kasabe Subaditidang. The offering is supreme and is firmly established in the Venerable Mahakasapa. Athako Bhagawa Idamandang Veditawa Tayang Vinayang Imang Udana Udanesi. Then the Venerable, not the blessed one. Yeah, the blessed one, having understood this, at that time he uttered this utterance.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, Sally. Thank you.
Yeah,
I think all could understand it. It's because in the previous paragraphs also we had lots of words. So then the Atako Sakko Devana Mindo Ayasmanta Maha Kasapang Abhivaditva. This is a gerund. Having paid respect to Mahakasapa. Sakka is the subject. Padakinang Katva. So Katva is having done. The how do you pronounce it? Could anyone help me? Circumambulation, right? The
I'm sorry,
right,
but
side.
it's the word very
Then
strange.
Vehasang.
So,
Okay. Okay, right. Circumambulation or something like that. Going around someone with respect, having put the right shoulder towards that. So normally in the Indian tradition, when you go around something we put the right hand towards it. So when we go around the pagoda, when we go around the Bodhi tree, that's a custom that shows respect. We don't go around putting the left side to that object. That is a way of showing the respect. Then Vehasang Abbugan. So these also a gerund.
Sorry, Bhante.
Yeah.
Regarding this point, why we always have to go right side, not left side?
That's I'm not sure the philosophy, any reason behind it. That's the custom that we were taught since our childhood, right? So if you go around in Buddhist cultures, when you go around something, respectful thing, you put the right side. And right shoulder is considered something now, even in like, it's mentioned recently, one monk having read the commentaries told me, even it's like when you, Buddha has mentioned, even as person fully support the parents, having kept them on their both shoulders for 100 years without letting them go down. Like it shows that you are fully respecting your parents. You don't allow them to do anything. Even still, you are not free from the debt. So in that simile also, it's mentioned that you have to keep, because the mother's love towards a child than the father is naturally higher. So therefore, it is mentioned in the commentaries that when you keep in the two parents, you keep the mother on the right side and the father on the left side. So therefore, it seems a custom that the right side is considered more respectful or more. I'm not able to say the reason. So it shows normally the right side. Now, even when we sit in the Sangika Dana, for example, in our monks' traditions, we always arrange the seats, putting the senior to the right. We put the senior to the right side, and juniors would sit to the left. So it seems like the right side is considered something auspicious or respectful. But I'm not sure, I'm not able to say what it was the reason, but this is how the custom is followed presently.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Then Vehasang Abbuggantva, having Abbuggantva means goes up into the sky. Akase Antalikke Tikkatung Udanang Udanesi. So he stayed in the space of the sky and uttered this utterance, Tikkatung. So Abbuggantva is also a gerund. So we can easily see the object of where he went, the place where he jumped was the Vehasang. Then what he did was the Padakkinang. Padakkinang Katwa, even though we translate it as Katwa. Instead of saying Gantwa, we can say Gamanang Katwa, having done the journey, having done the going. So it's a similar kind of a usage here. Then Akase Antalikke Tikkatung Udanang Udanesi, in the sky, he uttered this utterance 3 times. Ahodanam Paramadanam Kassape Supatititam, this is the supreme dana, which was well established in Kassapa. The commentary says this Ahodanam, Aho is like showing the, it's kind of showing the, we call it exclamation of surprise or consternation, they say. So it's one kind of word used to express the happiness, express the surprise, especially the surprise. Then Ahodanam Paramadanam shows that the dana was supreme. Kassape Supatititan shows that it was established on the real field of merit, like the Sangha, the noble ones are considered as a field where you can plant the seeds and you will get lots of crop, lots of fruit out of it. So it's a fertile field. So this is called Ketta Sampatti. Ketta. Ketta means the field where you plant seeds and you get the crops. So Kassapa was a pure person. So Kassape Supatipitan shows that his dana was given on the proper place. So they uttered it 3 times. Then Asosiko Bhagava Dibbaya Sotadhatya Visuddhaya Atikkanta Manusikaya Sakkasa Devana Mindasa Vehasang Abbuggantva Akase Antalike Tikkattam Udānaṃ Udānintassa. So verb is Ahosi. Bhagava is the subject. So Dibbaya Sota Dhatya Visuddhaya Atikkanta Manusikaya. So this is a one can take it as a phrase. So this is the instrument. Sota Dhatu is the instrument. So Dibbaya is an adjective of this Sota Dhatu. So it was not the physical ear. He heard it from with his divine ear. That was a mental ear, mental element. Mental element means it's a mentality. Dibba Sota we call. Because you attain it with the 4th jhana. Atikkanta Manusikaya means it has gone beyond the range of the human ear. Now, normally humans have a range of listening. We cannot listen to very subtle sounds, and we cannot listen to very far away sounds. But Dibba Sota Dhatu can listen to very far away sounds. So then Sakkasa Devana Mindasa. I think I have given this in the vocabulary that when you hear something from someone, we can use 2 cases. Normally we use the ablative case, but in the text we find sometimes it has been used with the genitive case. There are lots of examples like that. Yeah, you use the genitive case. So Venerable Lady Sayadaw tells, I think I have given it in the lecture notes, that you can just use as the genitive case, or we can put Sakkasa Devana Mindasa Udāna or Vachanam, whatever. We put the missing word, like what is the real object. So in that sense, he listened to the Udāna utterance of Venerable of the Sakka or of the Sakka. So this is one way of saying, but normally it's a usage of ablative case, genitive case in the place of ablative case. So then this is exceptional. It's not a must that you put the verb, you put the accusative object there. Then Vehasang Abbuggantva Akase Antalikke Tikkattum Udānintassa. So this part explains is an adjectival clause. It's an adjectival clause to the Sakka Devana Minda. So what this part explains the nature of Sakka. He heard the word of the Sakka or the utterance of the Sakka. Who was he? Vehasang, who had gone into the sky, jumped into the sky, and who was uttering the utterance staying in the sky. So this is adjectival clause of Sakkasa Devana Mindasa. Then he was telling, then it says what he heard, Ahodānaṃ Paramadānaṃ Kassape Supatipitang, he treated 3 times. So then the Bhadava uttered the utterance having known the meaning. We'll come to the Gatha after we have finished the Bhagya Sutta. We'll come to each and every Gatha that is skipped. So if you have any questions regarding up to now?
Yes,
yes,
I have
Dr.
a question, Bhante. So over there, so that last question, that last sentence, since there we have the, we can understand that based on the context of the previous sentence. So we know that who's doing the action of rising up into the sky is the Sakka, the king of the Dewa. But then if we look into that sentence alone, then I find the usage of the gerund is very strange in this case.
Yes.
Because the subject is Bhagavad, the verb is asosi, and then we look into there is a gerund. That action should belong to Bhagavad. It should not belong to the Sakka.
Yes. Normally, I think others also could understand. Shall I explain it a little bit? Because sometimes others may not understand.
Yeah.
So what Dr. Ryan is saying, normally we say, when we have a gerund in a sentence, that gerund should belong to the subject. Right, I'll repeat again. Normally in a sentence, the gerund belongs to the subject. That is normally how the rule is mentioned. So what he's asking is, so here Abu Gantva is a gerund. So in this sentence, we know the Bhagava, the subject is the Bhagava. So associate belongs to him, he heard. Then we find suddenly a gerund, and we are telling that it belongs to the Sakka. That rule we discussed, like gerund belongs to the subject, is not a absolute rule actually. It's said for normal sentences. So in this there are lots of these kind of usages in Pali. So we have to consider this as it's like a doctrine is like a separate sentence actually, because this adjectival clause is like a sentence to the sentence which explains about the Devanaminda. We have to consider it like that. So yes, thank you for pointing this. And there are in some cases, for example, I'll go to the lecture notes. There are some cases in the Tipitaka which shows, I think maybe you have also gone through this, which shows that the gerund, sorry, the screen was stopped. Can everyone see the lecture notes now?
Yes,
yeah.
Bhante.
Okay, right. So now there are some cases the gerund doesn't belong to the subject. For example, sorry, gerund and the subject. We'll take it as a one topic. The belongs to the everyone's understanding. I'll give an example. Batang, he eats the rice. So here the Bunjati, surely the verb belongs to the so, he, and Gantva also belongs to him. That is the normal usage. Always we say gerund belongs to the subject. That is a very common rule taught in Pali. But there are some cases, there are exceptions. For example, the Sihang, Diswa, Bayang, Upajjati. So this is a sentence that grammarians give, that there are exceptional cases. These are very identical sentence that they give. You can find this also in the Nirutti Deepani, that he has given few other examples on this case. Like here, having seen the lion, the fear arose. Now, if he explains this sentence, we analyze it. For example, Puriso, Sihang, Passati. The man sees the lion. Tassa, Bayang, Upajjati. So this is normally the meaning. The man sees the lion, so the fear arises in him. In this sentence, you can see Upajjati is the verb, Bayang is the subject. Bayang should be the subject. So the fear arises. So according to this, in this one sentence, Diswa should be to having seen the fear arises. So in these kind of usages, they say here Diswa is the reason of the, this is the reason of the main verb. So this is another example where the subject, the gerund doesn't belong to the subject. As in the other sense, as we discussed here, for example, if I give that particular sentence itself, we can see in this sentence, we can see Asosiko Bhagava Dibbaya Sota Dhatuya Visuddhaya Atikanta Manusikaya. So this is a Sakkasa Devanamindasa, right? So here up to now we can say this is the verb, this is the subject. and he listened to the word of the Sakka. Then this Abhugantva, because it is explaining about the Sakka, it doesn't belong to the Bhagava. Instead, it belongs to the Devanaminda or the Sakka. So this is also another case. But in this case, it's considered as an adjectival clause which explains the Sakka. But as Dr. Ryan mentioned, this is also a place we can say where the rule is being violated or is being exceptional case that the gerund doesn't belong to the main subject.
But it's still very strange to me, because let's say, so you the action of the Sakka is Udāna, that one, because it's the same case, Udāna tassa. So, and then
okay, right.
We know that it modifies Sakka. But then here, it's just a gerund. So if we don't know the previous sentence, I think we can say that that action can belong to the Bhagava. There's nothing restricts us from saying in the case.
In that sense, I would say this the word order has mattered a bit. Like this entire clause has to be taken as the adjective of Sakka. So in that sense, I personally, when I read, I would consider the word order in this sentence, in such a case, because this Abhugantva is within the phrase which explains about the Sakka. So that is what would keeps me to believe, to my personal experience, to bring Abhugantva, to connect Abhugantva with the Sakka, not with the Bhagava.
Right. No. I definitely agree with that. It's just also because we already see the sentence above it. It says that the king Sakka, flew up into the sky. So we already know that. So here it's just repeating the information. So yeah, but what I mean is that when we see that sentence alone, I mean, how can we say that? That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's why, Dr. Now, I would say if I see this sentence alone, I would take the word order. I would take the word order, because this phrase coming after the Sakka, so then it would give me a sense. I'm not able to explain it why. To my experience, I would consider this as a phrase which explains the Sakka and take all the gerunds connected to this noun, not to the main verb. In that sense, I would go for the word order, like how it is placed.
All right, thank you, Bhante.
Yeah, so that's personally that's I have good, but thank you for your question, because in sometimes we say the word order doesn't matter in Pali. So in that sense, that as you said, it's if we go in that manner, we cannot. There's no way that you can prevent someone taking Bhagava and Abhugantva as connected. So I think in this sense, because since it is within the clause which explains about the Sakka, we would take it as connected to Sakka. That is the only reason that I can justify this explanation. Otherwise, as you said, someone can take it as connected to the verb, subject.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Bhante.
Regarding here, when we say the sagas are Devanamindas are the or genitive case, is normally when we say, because here the main subject is the Bhagavad, right?
Yeah, main subject is the Bhagavad.
So we do not use the sagas as the accusative case as object, right? Or we take a genitive case.
Yeah. So, because when you listen something from someone, it should be either genitive or ablative.
But I have another feeling. For example, when we say sometimes we use the genitive case as the agent.
Genitive as the agent. Okay, right.
Yeah. But here the main agent is the Bhagavad. So that's why we cannot consider saga as the main agent, but maybe we can consider the secondary.
Secondary agent of Abhugantva, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's something like the object in this sentence.
the object of association should be utterance. Sakka is not the object. Right? Sakka is not the object, right? It should be.
Yeah, but this utterance is belong to the Sakka, right?
Utterance belongs to the Sakka, okay?
Yeah, that's what I understood.
So utterance belongs to the Sakka. So you mean this? Why do you mean like this genitive case is a subject? You mean what is the action he does? Abhuggantva, you mean, or Udanantasa?
No, I mean we can consider the Sakkas are all these phrases that belong to the Sakka part. We can consider as an object.
Then what is the verb? Associate. The Buddha
associate.
Heard, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
yes.
what did we hear here?
Yeah, that's why.
If you put an object, we have to put the accusative object separately, right? He didn't
yeah, but
hear
I mean, when we analyze the sentence, we
right.
can analyze the sentence stage by stage, right?
You mean, this entire part is the object of associate?
Yes. But between the inside the object, we have to analyze it in different ways. We have to, right?
I understand what you mean, but is it grammatically okay to say like that? It's because what you hear should be something, a word or utterance, something like that. Right? The object, the Sakka. Understand what you mean, that this entire clause is going under associate. But if you say it's an object, I would rather be a little reluctant to accept it, because when you say the object of hearing, it should be something that you hear, right? Not the person who uttered, because this clause is governed by not the object of the hearing, is the person who uttered the utterance.
Yes, so I just considered the
I think that is what I understand what the theory said. So we're taking that the whole thing as one group. We can say that, and then in that group, then the subject is Sakka, and then the action, the main action is Udāna. That's because it's put in the genitive case, because the subject is in the genitive case. We can say that. But then because the gerund is indeclinable, so we have to leave it that way. So we cannot put it in any case. So I think that's how I understand what she want to say.
So this what you are saying is this Sakkasa this is the subject of Abhuggantva. There's no argument in it. So what I was considering, this sa is because when you hear something from someone, you can write it in genitive or you can write it in ablative. So my idea was this is written in genitive based on associate, not based on because it's the subject. That's what my idea.
Yes. But I think what she means is that if we just read this one out, that one is
right. Yeah. Then so we can analyze. So we'll do it. For example, Sakko Devan Mindo Akas Abhuggantva Akase Antalike Tikatung Udānang Udānesi, right? Then Udāneti, for example, present tense we can say. Then Bhagava Tang Sota Dhatuya, all the adjectives associate, right? So Udānesi we can say, it is past tense. So here if we analyze, as you said, this is the second clause, the Sakkassa Devana Mindassa. This is the real sentence. And this Asosi Bhagava is here, right? So as you said, now I think everyone can see. So Sakka is the subject of this sentence. If you write it in two sentences, Sakka is the subject, and in this sentence, it has becomes the genitive case. It has become the genitive case. Here, the main clause is Bhagavatan Vibhaya Sodhati Asosi. So here is also the same. So we have added one word, tongue. This tongue is like he heard the sound. He heard the sound. He heard something. Bhagava Tan Vibhaya Sodhati Asos. He heard it with the divine eye. So here, when we explain the tongue, what is that sound? What is that we hear? What is what we heard was what was uttered by the Sakka. So actually, he uttered the Udāna. He uttered the Udāna. So when we connect it into this sentence, this subject has turned into genitive case, and Sakka has changed to genitive case. Udānang, Udānesi also has changed into a genitive present participle. So the list has remained as it is. Yeah, so we can say the subject of the previous sentence has changed into genitive case when it comes to this second sentence. Yeah, then this tongue is not explained. It's we have to put it again. If we when we take it as where there's a rule that when you listen to someone from someone, we can use genitive or ablative case. So I think that's why we have used it into genitive case. Otherwise, if it was like in the previous sentences we discussed, the Jatilas were emerging and taking bath in the water, and in the next sentence, when they became the object of the Bhagava's seeing, they were written in accusative case, for example. So I think we discussed on this. So in this manner, if they were the direct object of the seeing, that the subject would change into accusative case. So personally, I think since this was, he's hearing something from Sakka, so it was written in genitive case, and the entire thing, even the Udānesi has changed into a present participle, because we know that, yeah, these are rule. We know that you cannot have two verbs in the same sentence. So when we merge these two sentences, this verb has to turn into a participle, whether it's a present participle or a past participle. So this part, then what happens, this Devana Minda, this Udānesi has turned into a present participle. But since there's a rule that governs when you listen from someone, it should be either ablative or genitive. We have to keep Sakka in the genitive case. So what happened, the present participle has also changed into the genitive case. Missing here, we have to add if you want to put the tongue. How about that?
Yeah, that's
is that
perfect.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah, and then when you explain it this way, then it's clear, because then we change the whole first sentence into like a phrase, and we put it in the genitive case. So that's why the gerund is not effective.
Yes, exactly. That's why the gerund is not effective. Yeah. Because as you said, it's indeclinable. So we keep it as it is, and we put the entire part and it remains as it is. Yes.
Yeah.
And also all the other parts have remained, right? Vehasang abbuganto akasi antalikke. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you for the question. So we'll move to the I think we finished, right? Yeah. Is there any questions regarding this sutta?
Bhante, just one small question, Bhante, about the
Yes.
aho, Bhante.
Brother Robert. Yeah, yeah.
So is it like
Okay.
oh like that, Bhante? Like the sound of oh like that, Bhante? Should we translate it?
Oh, you mean in English, right?
Yeah, maybe like if we translate it to another language, is it just a sound like that, Bhante? And should we translate it as well, Bhante?
What is the meaning of awe? I'm not sure.
Like the feeling of surprise, Bhante, or happy like that, Bhante. This Dana is
Yeah,
well.
yeah. I think we can use. Yeah. Seems like.
Oh, okay, Bhante.
Dr. Ryan, what do you think? Is it okay to use such a word in English?
I think the PTS dictionary, they said it's like yeah or indeed or well.
Yes.
I say and for sure, something like that.
Okay. So better you to go into that translation.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay, Bhante. Thank you, Bhante. Thank you, Dr. Ryan.
So we'll go to the next sutta. Today we are going to Ekaputtaka Sutta. It's a very short sutta. Anyone volunteer to translate?
Yes, Bhante.
Yes. Okay, sister, please.
Evam me suttam ekam samayam bhagava savati yam viharati jetavane anatapindikassa arame. Thus have I heard. At one time, the Blessed One stayed near Savati at bamboo forest, at the bamboo forest of Anatapindika Park. Tena kopana samayena anyatarasa upasakasa eka putako pio manapo kalankato hoti. At that time, the only son, dear and beloved of a certain lay disciple had died. Atako sambahula upasaka alawata alakesa diwasa yena bhagawa tenupasankaminsu. Then many lay disciples who wear wet clothes, who have their hair wet, approach the Blessed One at noontime. Upasankamitva bhagavantam abhivadetva ekamantam nisidimsu. Having paid respect to the Blessed One, they sat to one side. Ekamantam nisine kote upasake bhagawa etadawacha. The Blessed One said to those lay disciples who sat on one side, Kim nukotu me upasaka alawata alakesa idupa sankamantan manta diwasati. Why have you, lay disciples, why have you who wear wet clothes, who have hair wet, approached here at noontime? Evam buddhe, so upasako bhagavantam etadawacha. When this was said, that lay disciple said this to the Blessed One. Mayam ko bhante eka putako piyo manapo kalankato. Venerable Sir, the only son, beloved and dear to me, had died. Tena mayam alawata alakesa idupa sankamanta diwasati. Because of that, we
who wear wet clothes and who have hair wet approached here at the noontime. Atako bhagava itamatam viditva tayam velayam imam udanam udanesi. Then the Blessed One, having know that meaning, at that time uttered this utterance.
Thank you very much. Sadhu, sadhu. Okay. Thank you. Very nicely done. Thank you. So I think she translated well. I think everyone could understand the meaning of the sutta. It was telling about one son has died and they were very sad. A group of upasakas, lay devotees, approached the Buddha, and Buddha gave a nice utterance like this gatha. It's very meaningful gatha about the death and who is free from death, who will be free from death, which is going to come in future lives. So this has few grammatical points that I would like to discuss. Evam me sutang ekan samayam bhagava savatyam vipan samena. At the time, anyataras upasakasya ekaputto pyo manapo kalankato hoti. So kalankato hoti is the verb, right? Died. We know what translated died. Who died? Ekaputto. Ekaputtako. Ekaputta and ekaputtaka. Sometimes this ka suffix can refer to a small son. Ka suffix. Puttaka is it shows he was small. Then sometimes the ka suffix can refer to show that the person is ignoble, not noble, ignoble, right? It's not very good. Here it seems it's used in the small sense. Anyatarasya upasakas, of one certain upasaka. His name is not mentioned. So if the name is not very popular, we use the word anyatara. Otherwise, if it was Anathapindika, if it was Visakha, or if it was the male devotee Visakha, or Chitta, Pāļi, their names were written. So this was not a very famous, popular devotee like others, like them. So it was named as Anyatara Supasaka. So Ekaputta, one son. Pio Manapo is explaining like modifiers of Ekaputta. He was dear and pleasing, pleasant person. He has passed away. Then Atako Sambahula Upasaka Allavatta Allakesa Diva Divassa Yena Bhagava Tenupa Sankaminsu. Then many devotees, Sambahula Upasaka. Upasankaminsu is the verb approached, right? So Yena Bhagava Tenupa Sankaminsu. I think you know that already. The place where you go should be written, it can be written in nominative case with the Yena and Tena on both sides. So then these Upasakas Allavatta Allakesa Hutva. So these are nominative because this is the verb. Upasankaminsu was the verb. So then we have the two nominative case in. This is a subject. So Allavatta Allakesa, we can also use it as an adjective. Like, but here Upasakas were normally, this is something that they have become only on that day. Normally in the commentary says, the Buddha asked them, on other days you come normally with dry clothes, like with the proper wearing, but today you come with all the wet clothes and wet hair without drying it. So why is this? So they have changed into a different form. So therefore we consider as a vikati kattu. The subject has changed, like, right? So hutva we put having been to wear having wet hair. You can say they approach the Buddha with wet clothes and wet hair. So grammatically we have to put the hutva to explain it according to the Pāļi grammar we study traditionally. Diva diva. So Tita Majjani means it's a mid-noon time. So the word Tita Majjanha, it's also a good thing to little bit discuss. sorry, it's called Majjhanike Kali. Diva Divasa, Divasa Diva, Majjhanike Kali. Majjhanike means it's in the noon time. So we have normally two types of noons. One is the Majjhanika, means around the 12 o'clock, around the sun is in the top, like around 12. And we also have a word called Tita Majjhana. Tita Majjhana means it's the exact noon, like the sun is at the exact point top. Monks are not supposed to eat after the sun has moved to the west side, but while it is in the middle, exact middle, we call it Tita Majjhana. Even at that time, we can still eat. The Vikala Bhojana is broken after it has moved to the west. So we don't know exactly how long it remains in the center and how it was considered in those days, because today we may be able to, with all the scientific equipment, we'll be able to measure it to a microsecond, but I'm not sure how it was considered, because according to the Vinaya commentary, we can still eat food during the sun is at the middle phase, like it's in the middle. There was a story in the Dhammasangani commentary, Arahant Bhikkhuni received their food during the Tita Majjhana, and she finished the meal, the entire meal during that time. So it shows that the tradition considered the Tita Majjhana to be something a little bit longer, like few minutes maybe. But we normally today we just go for the clocks that we use, the seconds and all. So normally we don't have, some teachers say it's 4 minutes because of longitudes, longitudes, I think, longitudes. So because normally the difference of a longitude is considered as 4 minutes. Based on that, some consider like that, but I'm not sure whether how accurate it is. So we have no idea how long the Tita Majjhana is. So Diva Divasa is the date noon time. So we have two types of noons explained in the Vinaya, just the Majjhanika and Tita Majjhanika. Tita Majjhanika is exactly when the sun is on the middle, and it's a quite short time. But according to the commentary of Dhammasangani, it seems like it's a quite long time, because one Arahant Bhikkhuni had a complete meal on that time. Yes, sister. Yes.
Bhante,
Yeah.
could you please write out those terms you just mentioned regarding noon time? It seemed to me that they have different shipment noon time.
Okay, so lecture notes. Majjanha. Majjanha is the noon, right? So the noon, like roughly around the noon. This one is called Tita Majjanha. Sutta, we don't need to consider about the Tita Majjanha. This is for we can call it the solar noon, like the time, the period, duration, which the sun is in the middle point, right? So addition, monks can still eat during the Tita Majjanha. Tita Majjanha is not considered as Vikala, right? We can see a story in the Dhammasangani commentary. One Arahanta Bhikkhuni used to have an entire meal during the Tita Majjanha, having received a meal. So I'll move to the sutta.
Oh, so the Divasa is before
Diva Divasa Diva Divasa is around the meal, around the noon. Because in this sutta, you don't need to worry about the Tita Majjana. This is, I shared it, had some extra knowledge. In this sutta, it was just the Majjana, around the noon. It was not the Tita Majjana, right? So, Upasankamitra Bhagavantang Abhivaditva Ekamantan Nisidinsu. Having approached, he respected the Buddha and sat beside.
Sorry, Bhante.
Yes, sir.
In the PDS, it mentions Diva Divasa. It means early in the day, at sunrise, at an early hour.
Early hour?
Yes.
Ah.
So early in the day, at sunrise, something like that.
At the sunrise?
Yes.
Okay, we'll add
Diva
it.
Divasa.
We'll add it to the lecture notes. Okay, according to Diva Divasa. According to PTS, right?
Yes.
So it's the, what do you say? Can you please repeat?
Early in the day.
Early in the day. At
the sunrise. No, separate.
Separate, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The commentary says
at an early hour also.
Early hour. Right. The sunrise, according to this commentary, states that Divasasya Diva. It's the daytime of the day. So then they explains Majjan Hike Pāļi Tiato. So according to them, is the noon time. It's the day of the noon of the day. Divasasya Diva. Daytime of the day, we can call daytime of the day. It means Majjanike Kale. It was the noon time. So this noon, according to the commentary, is the around the noon, not the Tita Majjana. Yeah, thank you for your explaining information, Sally. Thank you. So the PTS has a different idea on this. So we go to the sutta. Right. So beside Ekamantan Nisinoketi Upasake Bhagava Etadavocha. Etang Avocha. Buddha said this. So whom did he said? He said to the Upasakas, right? Ekamantan Nisinekoti. So this is an adjectival clause of Upasaka. The Upasakas who sat beside. The Buddha said this to the Upasakas who sat beside. I think everyone can understand. This is a easy grammatical usage. Then Kinnuko Tumhe Upasaka Allavatta Allakesa Idupa Sankamanta Diva Divas. So here king is used in the meaning of hetu, why, reason. It's similar to kena. Why. So according to the grammar mentioned in Nirutta Dipani, if someone is interested, you can go to the last paragraph of Karaka Khanda, 330 sutta, last sutta of Karaka Khanda, in the Saptami Vibhakti, last sutta. It shows that when it is come with the pronouns, when it comes with pronouns, all the vibhakti, all the case sendings have the meaning of reason, right? All the case sendings have the meaning of reason. So we'll try to explain it another day. I'll just give you the reference. If someone is interested, go to the last sutta of the Karaka Khanda of Nirutta Dipani. Sayadaw has given all the examples, how all the 7 cases can be used in the meaning of hetu, but it has a special exceptional with the usage of pronoun. So this king is a pronoun. So we can have this. Yeah. Hello. Because of a pronoun, it can have in all the cases, we can have the meaning of reason. So here, kena. For what reason? Nu is the alapana, vocative case. So tumhe, you, allavatta hutva, because it's grammatically, having wearing wet clothes, allakesa hutva. I think you understand this usage. Having the wet hair. Idupa sankanta diva divas. Diva divas is the time. It's a the daytime, the noon time. Divasa is the day. Divasa diva, day of the day, right? So then this is the time he approached. So this is the subject. These are vikati katu. The subject has changed into other. Now if you take into the verb, this seems to be the verb. This seems to be the verb. Ida upasankanta. So we have to divide this. Ida upasankamanta. Upasankamanta. So this is the functioning of a verb. The functioning of a verb. So upasankamati is approach. Upasankamanta is approaching. Present participle. This is not a past participle. If it was past participle, it should be upasankanta. This is sankamanta. So I'll come to the lecture notes. So why this is in plural? Because the subject is in plural. Subject is second person. So whether it's first person, second person, third person, it doesn't matter. When you write a participle as the verb, when you write the participle as a verb, it should be kept according to the number of the subject. When you keep a participle as a verb, right? I'm just saying conventionally, there are lots of exceptions. There are lots of details to be discussed on this usage of participle as verbs. So this, when you use a participle as a verb, whether the subject is first person, second person, third person, doesn't matter. You have to consider about the number. So this is a plural, second person plural, tumhe. So therefore, in nominative plural. So then, yeah, these are the vikati kattu, no need to worry about. Ida is here, in this place. Diva divas is the time. Then king nu ko, king is the reason. Nu is asking the question. So now we go into the a very important grammatical usage. This is the usage of participles. Usage of participles. So uses of participles. Now last time we discussed about, I think I have copy pasted from the above lecture notes. We discussed that participle, past participle have few functions. It can be used as a noun. It can be used as an adjective. It can be used as an absolute. It can be used as a verb, right? And also we mentioned when it is used as a nominative, there are two types of absolutes. Absolute in the genitive and locative. You use the genitive and locative absolute with different agents. If it is written with the nominative absolute, the same agent. And that is quite equal in meaning, in the sense, it's quite equal to gerund. It's quite equal to gerund, right? So now we are talking about the usage of, I have given some examples. Here, usage of present participle. Usage of present participle. Usage of present participle. So according to the tradition, we have few usages of present participles. It can be used as an adjective. It can be used as an absolute. Now it's clear with this sentence, it can be used as a verb even. It can be used as a verb. Because if you take this example, because one time in a Sinhalese book, when I was studying as a student, I found that one Sayadaw had mentioned that present participle cannot be used as a verb. I don't know how it came into that Sinhalese book. He mentioned that it can never be used as a verb, but this sentence is very clear to us. This sentence is very clear that the present participle is being used as a verb. So then I also wanted to cross-check this, how it is taught in Myanmar. So my Abhivansa friend mentioned that there is no such a saying among them that present participle cannot be used as a verb. He said he has not heard about it. So therefore, in the lectures I gave in the ITBMU, I mentioned that present participle cannot be used as a verb. So I want to correct that mistake, because this sentence clearly shows if we cut off this, mark these other words, we can find that these are all other syntaxes. Tumhe and upasankamanta. These two words, right? So tumhe upasankamanta, right? If you want, you can put honti, right? If you want hota, right? Hota, because of the tumhe. So this is also like a past participle. We'll discuss this later in the lectures when you are doing the translations quickly. So we can use a past participle as in the place of subject, the place of the verb. Bhagavato, for example, Bhagavato asane nisinno, right? Past participle. So these are absolute usage. Past participle in the verbal usage, we can use a give a simile like Bhagava. Eka pallankena nisinno. Hoti, we can put hoti, right? So this is nisinna is a past participle. It is functioning as a verb. Actually, hoti, even though we can use it as a verb, the real verbal meaning is found in nisinna. So we say normally nisinna can be used as a verb. So in the same way, the present participle also shows that as a verbal meaning, can also have a meaning of a verb. Right. So we find there are 4 usages of the present: noun, adjective. There are 4 functions of the past participle. In that sense, there is an extra usage. Nominative absolute is equal to a gerund, but in the present participle, we may not be able to say it's a gerund. But if because the gerund is action that we have already done, so we normally don't say it has an absolute function because it was something that the action is already happening. So we have these 4 usages of the present participle. Past participle also we have 4 usages. The nominative absolute in the past participle, we can say it as it is equal to a gerund. So also you can say past participles have 5 functions, where present participle have 4 functions, or you can say both have 4 functions and put the gerund meaning in the nominative absolute, equal to nominative absolute of the past participle. Yeah, it's for me also it was a new knowledge. If you have any questions regarding this. Right. So instead of using a verb, we can also end the sentence with a present participle. So example, so gamang gacchati. We can say it's equal to so gamang gacchanto, or we can say gacchang hoti. Right. And also for the extra knowledge that we discussed, I hope this will not confuse some. So gamang gamanang karoti also we can use. Right. So that is just to remind you that we can change sentences into this kind of with the kar and who. So if you have any questions regarding this grammatical point. Yes, Dr. Ryan.
Yeah, so I remember for gerunds, when we translate a sentence that have many gerunds, we can just say that they can happen successively or maybe at the same time. That is one way of translating it. But then if that's the case, then can we say that the for present participle using as nominative absolute, then can it also have the sense of gerund as well?
Yeah, thank you for your question. It's in advance here. So as you said, yes, it's another very nice. So I'll just cut this karoti one. It can lead to confusion. So as exception, like special usage, that's how it's called. As Dr. Ryan mentioned, sometimes, as you said, sometimes the gerund has the meaning of an action that happens together with the final verb. In some cases, for example, we can say chittang upajitva sanyang upajati. Chitta and sanya both arise together according to Abhidhamma. But sometimes we can say the first having arise, chitta having arised, the sanya arises. Or vedanang upajitva sanyang upajati. Having arise, vedana having arise, sanya arises. Passang upajitva vedanang upajati. Having arise, the vedana, sanya arises. So this verbal usage of gerunds, we can also interpret as a reason, the vedana, the reason for the vedana. But if you look into the inside happening at the same time. So as you said, sometimes the gerund has the meaning of an action that happens together with the final verb. That is also accepted in the tradition. That you see. So in that case, right, in that case, a gerund is equal to a present participle. Yeah, sense, in a sense. But I'll recheck it on that. And if you also have some reference, please send me. Because in such cases, also we say gerund has the function, but we look into the incident, they are happening at the same time. So the commentary says, even though the gerund is used, don't take it as action that happened before the past or before the final verb.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. And another special usage of present participle is Bhagava Dhammang Tang Dasinto Dhammang Deseti. Right. So, for example, Bhagava used to say, now some incident happened. This monk was not doing this only in this life. He has done it in the past life. So then the monks asked, please explain this to us. Then the Buddha wanted to show it. And so we say Bhagava Tandasen. So in this case, seems that showing that Dasento means showing someone, showing that incident, Dhamman Deseti, Desetung Arabic, Desetung Arabic. Or something like that, started to pick them. So in such cases, the tradition says, so desento is equal to desetu kamo. Right? Desetu kamo. So this one, desetung plus kamo. So another special usage, this present participle can have this desirous idea also. Can have the desirous idea, even though it's used as a present participle. Desetum kamo, desetu kamo. So even you can just omit, sometimes you may omit the karma, but and say to to show that he started to preach the Dhamma. But traditionally, my friend mentioned that they give the meaning as desetu kamo, being desirous to show that past connection with the present, he started to preach Dhamma. These are another special usage of present participles. So we'll, yeah, thank you, Dr. Brand, for the questions.
Thank you.
Seems very useful because we could go more further. We'll conclude the sutta because time has already passed. Sorry for that. We'll finish the sutta. Evang Vutte, when thus this was said, so Upasako Bhagavantang Etadivocha. The blessed, that Upasaka said this to the Blessed One. Mayanko Bhante Ekaputto Pyo Manopo Kalankato. So Maihang Ekaputto, my only son, who was dear to me and who was pleasant, has passed away. Kalankato. Easy sentence. Mayang is the genitive of Ekaputtaka. Tena, because of that. Right? Tena is the reason. Because of that. Mayang, we, Allavatta, Allakesa, Hutva. Allavatta, Allakesa, Hutva. Idupa Sankanta Divadivas. Approaching here, we can say it as approaching here during the daytime. Yeah, so then he uttered, having known this, he uttered the Gata. Yeah, so this is the sutta that we have. So if you have any one question, because time has passed. Anyone has any question? Okay, so we'll call it a day. And thank you for participating and wish you all the best.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu.
Okay, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.